is an aberration. Obviously, Boston's been the best team in basketball. You don't lose like that. That can happen. I saw the Lakers lose in the NBA Finals by 40 in a game one, if I remember correctly, against Boston in the 80s and came back and won that series. So we understand that there are these moments happen. But considering the fact that a Game 6 is back in Dallas, if you're the Boston Celtics, you certainly don't want to find yourself in a situation where Game 6 is forced, because the likelihood is that if it's forced, it's going to be because your two resident stars didn't step up and handle their business. With Porzingis out, Dallas has been driving the ball in the basket. They've been scoring in the paint more over the last two games than they did in the first three. So they're taking advantage of Porzingis, which is why people like myself and others picked the Dallas Mavericks to win this series, because we suspected that Porzingis wouldn't be able to play in this series more than 1 or 2 games and stuff, and that's exactly what has ended up happening. So we'll see, even though we didn't expect Boston to go up 3-0. In the end, though, a game like this in Boston with that crowd, as rabid as they're going to be tonight, the stars have to come out and send a message. We're not going back to Dallas. And Jason Tatum didn't do that in that press conference interview right there. He didn't do that at all. I'm not saying it's the end of the world, but you don't hear stars talking about if we don't win the game, it's not the end of the world before the damn game happens. You hear that after the game. Yeah. You do not hear that before the game. That was not a good thing, but we'll see whether or not him and Jaylen Brown respond.
I'm going to go Kyrie. Now, look, I come into this expecting Luka to have same sense of urgency defensively and his temperament, like Wendy, like you said, and Get Up, his temperament being at the point where he's not complaining, whining, doing all the extra stuff. He's staying engaged in the play.
Okay.
But I think this has a chance to be Kyrie's biggest game of his career. Now, I say that understanding that Game 7, he made that shot with Cleveland. It was incredible.
Right.
But coming into this game, the baggage that he has in that arena, the baggage that he has with the fan base, seeing that Luka has been able offensively to be there. And the first 2 games the way they were for Kyrie, it even seems in all these days leading up to Game 5, like the little comments, even though Kyrie's being reflective around it being a cult. Yes, it is a cult. They're the Boston Celtics. They have 17 championships. They are an avid fan base. Yeah. If him talking about it wasn't really that loud in the arena after Game 1, it still seems like this is something that he's dealing with, these demons from the past.
Like they're in his head a little
bit. And if Kyrie's able to get over that in a Game 5 and step up and play alongside Luka, that's the reason why I think he gets to a Game 6 in Dallas.
I think it goes back to the Celtics beating themselves. I don't know if the Mavericks will beat the Celtics on their own home floor. For me, it's not the superstars not showing up. It's the Celtics as a whole not hitting threes. Because what have we talked about with this Celtics team throughout the season? They live and die by the three-point shot. We have seen them in multiple series. When they lost to Miami at home, they did not shoot the three well. When they lost to Cleveland, they did not shoot the three well. Even in Game 2 in this series, they were 10 of, 39 from three. They were 25% from beyond the arc. The Mavs just couldn't take advantage of that. I think it would be the Celtics hurting themselves.
They were 14 to 41 from 3.
That too. Game 2 at home, they struggled hitting threes. They were 25% at home. So I think it comes down to knocking down threes because they live and die by it. It's not like they're going to stop taking them. If they're not hitting threes, I think they'll lose tonight.
It was a series shift in 3 and 4 compared to 1 and 2. Dallas very easily could have won Game 3. Yes. They blew them out in Game 4. What was the difference in those 2 games? No Porzingis. And especially in Game 4, Derek Lively. Derek Lively is a huge factor for the Mavericks.